Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why some people seem to breeze through life changes while others feel totally stuck? Like, why does one person decide to become more chill and actually succeed while another person tries just as hard and fails? Today, we are diving into a really cool study about our personalities and whether we can actually steer them in a new direction. Most of us have probably thought about changing a part of ourselves. Maybe you are a bit of a worrier or you get stressed out by the smallest things, and you just want to be a bit more calm. Psychologists call this trait neuroticism, and it basically measures how emotionally reactive or moody you tend to be. For a long time, we thought personality was pretty much set in stone once we hit adulthood. But this recent research is shaking things up by showing that with the right tools, people can absolutely lower their neuroticism over time. The big question these researchers had was, why are some people way better at this than others? They looked at two specific ideas. First, there is self-efficacy, which is just a fancy way of saying how much you believe you have the skills to pull off a tough task. Think of it as your confidence in your own abilities. Second, they looked at a growth mindset or the belief that your personality is not actually permanent and can be improved with some effort. They hypothesized that these beliefs are like the secret sauce for making real, lasting change. So, how did they test this? They gathered over 400 people who all had a specific goal in mind. They wanted to become less neurotic. The researchers had these participants go through an app-based program for a few months. Throughout this time, they filled out surveys to track their moods, their stress levels, and their confidence. It was super comprehensive. They even used different ways to measure neuroticism, including simple check-in forms and a bit of a trickier test that measures hidden, implicit associations about the self. The results were really fascinating. They found that people who started the study with higher self-efficacy were much more successful at lowering their neuroticism by the end. It was like their belief in their ability to master the challenge acted as a springboard. Even more interesting, they found that as people started to succeed, their self-confidence grew. It triggered a feedback loop. When they felt more efficacious, they became more stable, which then made them feel even more capable. This is what we call a reinforcement mechanism. You get a little win, you feel better about your ability to handle life, and that extra bit of confidence helps you calm down even more the following week. But here's the catch. This worked for self-efficacy, but the growth mindset idea did not consistently predict success. It seems like believing that personality can change is not quite enough. You actually need to feel like you, personally, have the power to make it happen. Now, this study is great, but we should always be a bit critical. One limitation is that a lot of these findings come from self-reported surveys. This means people might have been answering in a way that they thought the researchers wanted to hear, or they might just have been feeling more optimistic because they were participating in a study. Also, these findings might not apply to everyone, especially since the sample was mostly younger. Tech-savvy people, we do not know if this would work exactly the same way for an older population or in a completely different culture. So, what is the big takeaway for you? If you want to change, do not just hope for or believe in change. Build your self-efficacy. Start with small, manageable wins. If your goal is to be less stressed, do not try to fix everything at once. Set small daily challenges that you know you can beat. Each time you succeed at one of those tiny tasks, you are not just checking a box. You are literally changing your own neural pathways and boosting your confidence for the next harder task. It is a slow burn, not a sprint. This research reminds us that we are not just victims of our personalities. We are the architects of our own behavior. But that architecture requires the right set of tools. Future studies should look at whether this applies to other personality traits, like trying to become more outgoing or more organized. I am really curious to see if the same reinforcement loop happens there too. What do you think? Do you feel like your confidence to handle life challenges is the main thing holding you back from the changes you want to make? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this mental deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another lab session. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one.